of your time with us today. It is my pleasure to have Patrick Siver on with us, guest presenting for this webinar today. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Lori. Couldn't be happier to do it with you.
So in this webinar, we're talking about golf tournaments with Auctria, and of course, we're featuring the great Patrick Siver from gEvents. The Auctria platform can be used in many different fundraising events. You can use it A, to extend the use of your license, and also B, to keep your supporters engaged and keep them giving, of course. It's my pleasure to share with you an expert in both of these areas. Patrick wears many hats today, but I'm proud he's here today as an Auctria partner and a guest presenter. So if you haven't been hanging out with Auctria for a while, just a reminder, this is our 10-year anniversary and we're thrilled. Since 2011, 30,000 auctions have run through Auctria. Over $300 million have been raised, and that's for awesome fundraising efforts because you've done it. You guys are the heroes out there. So, hey, Patrick, I have a little survey. Is that okay if I pull up?
Absolutely. I always love your surveys.
And I would love for people in the bottom right-hand corner, I see Kristen is the first one in the chat. So she gets the gold star for the day. But I'd love for you in the bottom right-hand corner, put in the chat geographically where you're tuning in from and what kind of group you're fundraising for. And then I also have a little survey. I'm curious what your status is of golf events and software platform. So first question is, are you planning on running a golf tournament fundraiser? Yes, or I'm thinking about it and I'm here to learn more. And if yes, have you used any software in the past? Have you used Auctria? Are you using another platform? Or again, are you here to learn from the great Patrick? And then do you have a golf tournament event planner? No, I'm looking for help. Yes, looking to make an upgrade. Or, oh my gosh, I didn't know I needed one. So, and these are just some questions that come up on our auction team talk and our page and our support. So I'm just curious what the audience here is thinking. It looks like there's a couple more votes coming in, so I'll let that scroll through and I'll share the results for you. Patrick, it looks like we're scanning coast to coast here.
Yeah, it does. It's look at there.
I got a friend in South Florida with me. It looks like Dominique, and then we're going all the way out to Washington State. So we're going coast to coast here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And there's still some votes coming in. I want to wait for those to finish up because I want you to share and see what your peers are doing and what people are answering. They're still popping in, so I'll let that go. And I'll hit end and I'll share the results. So in case you didn't vote, that's okay, that it's still coming in. So it looks like about 58% are planning a golf tournament. Yay, congratulations on your upcoming event. We're split, it looks like 15% are using Auctria, 15% using another platform, and 36 are here to learn. So hopefully, I know you will gain some information out of this. I have my notepad and my paper here myself because I'm ready to take notes too. And then do you have an event planner? Do I need one? A great question. You'll find out about that. Looking for help, and yes, looking for an upgrade. So let me flip back over the presentation. And that's everything about Auctria. And Patrick, tell us everything. Talk to us about gEvents and talk to us about auction events. See, I got auctions all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you should, right? I mean, I do. So it's fantastic. Well, Lori, thanks again to Auctria, Rob, and the entire team. You guys do a phenomenal job. As you know, I'm a huge fan. And, you know, a year ago, I didn't really have much concern over which software programs that our clients use. But when we broke into virtual, I had to dive in the middle of it. And I've just embraced Auctria because I've been so impressed with what you've accomplished. So to give folks a little bit of my background, I've been producing golf events for nearly 30 years. I've done everything from small corporate events to national championships for the United States Golf Association, and also as tournament director on a couple of what is now the Korn Ferry Tour part of the PGA Tours family. And 10 years ago, I broke out on my own and started a company called gEvents. And when I did, I decided to add benefit auctions to my repertoire. So gEvents is based on producing not only fundraising golf tournaments, but also fundraising auctions. And so there we go. And we are responsible for taking an event from all the way from concept and design to revenue generation and finally to execution. So we should just dive into it, right, Lori?
Yep, here's our agenda.
Fantastic. And so on our agenda today, we're going to talk about maximizing the results. It's great that, as we saw in the survey, quite a few of you are already doing golf events. I want to talk to you about how to maybe maximize that with your event design and how to manage that newly designed event using your auction software and specifically Auctria, and talking about increasing your revenue streams, kind of what kind of fundraising expectations you should have and how we're going to grow your event from year to year. So let's take it to that next one, and I can do that, right? And I did.
Absolutely. And so feel free to drop any questions or comments in the bottom chat. This is a conversation. We're happy to answer as long as you want. I've got till 6 p.m. Eastern time.
and you know, that's that I've been known to be an oxygen thief, as you know, Lori. So it's I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has, right? So let's start off today with talking about maximizing results. And I would tell you, and I've said this for many years for folks trying to raise money with golf tournaments, if it is just a golf tournament, you're going to have a real challenge raising money. It is very difficult to make a profit margin on greens fees and cart rentals. And you know, so the kind of the fallback solution for a lot of folks is they kind of nickel and dime their guest around the golf course with par 3 contest and, you know, extra opportunities to make donations. And I'm not a big fan of all of those things. It makes it very difficult to raise money. So what I say is that to make money with a golf event, it has to be more than a golf tournament. And we can expand our audience and grow our donor base when we make it more than just a golf tournament. So let's dive into it and take a look at some of the ways we would do it. And the first thing we would do is look at our event design. And I'm going to encourage you to look at your schedule of events with your golf event, and I'm going to incorporate a social event. And I'm going to tell you that do it the night before is best. The reason is that it makes it more convenient for spouses or significant others to attend that event. And when they do, folks are more engaged when the spouses and significant others are involved. The night before makes it easier to attend as a couple. You don't have 2 cars at the event. And then with that, it provides you a venue to also add additional fundraising elements. Online elements you could add, whether it be an auction or a paddle raise, any of those types, maybe a live auction event, a fund to need or a paddle raise, add raffles to your event. You can even live stream elements of your event, maybe the party, maybe the golf awards, to build engagement with your non-golfers. Remember, in this day and age, we don't need to have a high-tech AV crew to go live. We can go live from your cell phone, and then you can broadcast it on your event website, but only, Lori, if you're using the right website. So let's dive into that. We've created this new event, and I think our audience is probably looking at us going, wow, he just created this huge event. Who's going to do all that? We were already short of help and short on time. I'm a one-person show, and how do we do this? And I'm going to encourage you to look to Auctria as your event management tool. And people say, well, it's benefit auction software. Well, yes, it is, but it also has an incredibly strong event management component. And when you think about converting your golf event into truly a fundraising event, and you're going to incorporate some of these auction elements into it, it makes a lot of sense to use your existing benefit auction software like Auctria. And one of the best things is that it's sold on a subscription basis. So as Lori mentioned earlier, you don't have to add to your subscription to be able to run a golf tournament, right, Lori?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's talk about a couple of things that you want to think about when you're doing this. And first and foremost, a little bit's just lexicon, right? First and foremost, we want to think of any tickets that we would have traditionally sold to our gala event or our fundraising auction. Those are now golfers. So a ticket now equals a golfer. And think of that table as being a foursome or a team of golfers, depending on how you have your event organized, whether you're playing in foursomes or fivesomes, whatever you're doing. And then remember, a bidder at your event can be both a golfer and a non-golfer, right? And as we talked about a moment ago, adding some of these other fundraising elements and expanding past just the actual golf element of the event will allow more folks to be involved, and more folks in these types of events equates to more money for your nonprofit. So the great thing is you have all the fundraising tools built right into Auctria, and especially and most powerful to me is the customizable website and communication tools that will be incredibly valuable for your event. So let's take a look, and let's start with the website. I always recommend driving your supporters and participants to your organizational website first to start with, right? This is where they will remember your organizational website address. Then have a pop-up or a highly visible link to your event that will take them directly to the Auctria site. Once on the Auctria site, provide all the pertinent facts regarding your event, the date, location, schedule of events right at the top. And then make it obvious on how to participate. Now, when we talk about participate, we're obviously interested in making sales. And with that being said, let's take a look at how we use Auctria to do that. I cannot stress enough the value of having sales ability on your event website. This eliminates the need for expensive sales kits that were hard printed, constantly needing to be updated, or that dreaded shared Google sheet that everyone or the staff continually messes up. Have we all been to that show, right, Lori?
Yes.
Yeah,
sadly.
I have nothing to do with that one, right? And now here is where we have to remember selling golf can be very similar to selling our annual gala or auction event. Now, I'm a huge advocate of selling foursomes or teams instead of individual golfers. So just like selling tables versus individual tickets. And here's a nugget. I always focus on folks to remember it's a lot easier to sell 32 or 36 foursomes than it is to think I've got to sell 144 golfers in a full field event. And remember, you can always make those individual spots available at the last minute if you need to. So we really focus on table sales at our golf tournament, which are in essence foursomes. And be sure to designate the number of golfers or tickets that are associated with each package and item. And what I mean by that is you're going to create a for sale item for each of your sponsorships in Auctria and foursome packages. Remember to set the quantity so you can easily track your inventory, right? And that's something I'm always confused with too. When you're working with those committees, Lori, it's kind of like I say, hey folks, if they're not in the system and they haven't purchased it on the website or we haven't put it in there for them, it is still available. But we can always look at that dashboard and know exactly what we have available. And hey, I do want to let our audience know we are going to be looking at a sample website here in a few minutes if I am going quickly for you. All right. So let's take a look. I've got to get to the next slide. There we go. And each time a sale is made, whether it's initiated by the customer or the website, your team using the back of house interface, a ticket or a bidder will be created for each golfer and assigns them to be on a table. So I think that's incredibly powerful, right? Because when we do that, we're creating that bidder in the system right from the get-go. And so now we're ready to implement some of those auction elements of the event. And then best of all, that website is open when, Lori?
24 hours a day, ring the registers.
That's right. And that is so much better than the old environment of like, hey, leave a voicemail, send an email and hope somebody responds, right? And that they respond when you get the email and you're worried about your inventory. When you're using the website to help you sell, It is open 24/7. So the customer can do business when the customer wants to do business. And that is incredibly, incredibly powerful. So let's think about sponsorship sales. Sales is obviously more than just the golfers. It also includes sponsorships, and this is another highlight of Auctria. This is where I think it's incredibly powerful to use this robust program to do this. The event website is the perfect location to showcase sponsors, which is great for sponsors, but selfishly, Lori, I think when you showcase sponsors, yes, it's great for them. You can tell them all these folks are seeing them, but selfishly for the organizer and for the committee, I think that when people come to your website and they see other sponsors involved, it instantly gives your event credibility, and people want to be a part of something successful, right? They also see how well that you showcase the other sponsors, and they want to be showcased and treated like that also. So our highest level of sponsors might even get included in system emails. And we'll talk a little bit about customizing the emails within Auctria to make that happen. So in pulling it all together, it's going to make it easier for sponsors to purchase and support, solicit, and post recognition as early. Encourage you to do that post recognition very early and very as soon as possible, including outside of Auctria on your social media accounts. And remember, folks, sponsors beget sponsors. Always loop back with them and share things that you're doing for them. But it's so easy to do when you are inside of Auctria. And then talking about communication, this is one of my favorite things that you guys have done. And I can't believe that it's just part of the program, right? And this is text. The texting feature is, I got to be honest, Lori, when I learned that it had texting, I said, oh, that's great. Okay, whatever. I just didn't even imagine that could be powerful. Okay. And I am blown away at what can happen as I dive into it and how we can incorporate text even in our golf tournaments. It's just fantastic. Remember, folks, if you have one of the paid accounts with Auctria, texting is included. There's some other software platforms out there, no names mentioned, of course, but they charge extra for all these different modules. And Auctria is all in one. It's unbelievable to me. I think it's the best value available. And the fact that texting is included is just stupendous. And I think that in our day and society, people love the flexibility and the convenience of texting. And the audience here can text to register. They can text to bid. They can text to donate. You can even send your golfers texts while they're out on the golf course, encouraging them. One of the fun things that we're going to do with an event is encouraging them to purchase mulligans or other fun ideas, right? I'm going to show you on the website. So it's fabulous stuff. And you guys have done just an incredible job in making it all possible. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I think that was me. That was me. I've got my one deal's in my way. I wanted it to go to there, right? So let's go ahead
take a tour.
Yeah, let's take a tour and check it out for real, okay? And then there's a question in there, Lori. I'm going to just feel free to interrupt me anytime you see a question that I should address or you want to address. Just holler at me. Otherwise, I get going. So let's take a look. This is a sample event that we put together for today's webinar, but it really follows kind of my basic model that I love to use for golf events, and when I use Auctria to do that. Pretty straightforward event. You can see here all of our options at the top. Sign up now, scoring help. I'm going to touch on that one. I think that's fun. Thank you, map and directions. Donate an item if we're going to have an auction of some sort, whether it's just a simple online or include a live auction. Let folks make donations of items, and Auctria has a phenomenal tool in that form to do it. Obviously, contacts us in my account. So we called this the Auctria Invitational, Lori. I appreciate you stepping up and becoming the title sponsor on the new Auctria Invitational, right? Let Rob know the bill's in the mail, right? Or he can click, I'll send him a text with it. So here we go. So the first thing we started out here, folks, with is just letting people know what it is. We don't have to go into a whole lot of explanation. Now, I just said Thursday and Friday. I didn't put certain dates, specific dates, because I didn't want to. But, Thursday night, you can see we've incorporated that welcome reception and auction. And that means that, now I get to bring my spouse or significant other, and that's fantastic. It becomes more of an event, like I mentioned earlier. And then Friday, we're going to start off with lunch a little early. We're going to have a long drive contest. We've got a shotgun start, and we have 19th hole hospitality, which is kind of following. That'll be kind of our awards reception just for the golfers, kind of a quick down and dirty deal. And then we're also going to have a $100,000 hole-in-one shootout just to get people engaged. And what do you see there, Lori? But you read that and you're going, I want to go to this event. And I don't have to scroll. I don't have to do anything. I can click sign up now, and it will take me right to where I can commit. So always, when you tell somebody something in your website that is going to engage them and make them excited about their event, don't make them read the whole site. Give them an opportunity to sign up right now. And so when you click on sign up now, it takes you right over to our sign up now page, right? And I'm going to go back to that in a second. The next thing that I do is that I talk about thanking our sponsors. And this is, you'll hear me talk about a sponsor row. Is that the right terminology, Lori?
Correct.
That's what it's called in the website. And from here, this is taking information straight out of our sales and the bidder records, and it's putting it there automatically. And that is incredible. But what I love about it is, once again, when you're a business owner and you or a business person who has the ability to spend the business's money on sponsorships, when I look at these, I go, well, we want to be like those companies, or there's our competitor. We need to be involved in this golf tournament. Instantly, all I have to do is hit become a sponsor now. And once again, I'm able to become a sponsor, and it will take me right to the sponsor page. Okay, so let's take a look at our sponsor page right now. We start off with our team package. So this would be the basic table package, Lori. And what we've done here is we've spelled out exactly what they get, right? So, and if we change anything throughout the process, or maybe we want to add a new package, it's so much easier when it's all on the website versus those old hard printed marketing books, right? Or that PDF flyer that our committee is trying to email around to all their friends and folks that they think they can support. The other thing I love about Auctria is that I mentioned earlier, setting the inventory, okay? So right here, it tells folks that there's only 16 left. It doesn't say 16 times 4, right? So when I look at this is just methodology, right? Philosophy. But when I look at 16, seems like a pretty small number versus this being 64. When there's 64 left, I think that's no big deal. I'm not in any rush. When I think there's only 16 left, now I'm thinking maybe I need to jump in on this right away, okay? The other thing we do, Lori, is that we look at it, and when we have a sponsorship, now our sponsorships are right here below it. When we have these in place, one of the things I love to do is that when it is sold out, now all of a sudden we put the buying company's logo into that record for that item. So now it shows that Auctria bought our title sponsorship, right? And that's fantastic because folks are going to be looking at these this web page, and they're going to go, once again, just like I said on the front page, they say, wow, if that company's involved, we need to be involved. I don't see a real estate firm. We're a real estate firm. We need to jump involved. So showcase all the different organizations that are involved in your event, right? And so the same case here, we sold this package to our friends at Vista Capital, Project Odie. So I'm keep scrolling. I'm thinking, gosh, this event's almost sold out, right? But no, here comes one that we can still buy. And it just has a simple icon we created in Canva. I know, Lori, you're a big fan of Canva. And so, when you think about sponsorships, sometimes you don't have necessarily a graphic. I would encourage you, whatever your graphic capabilities are, Canva is an easy way to do things like this. And then replace that graphic once you have sold it. right? So all of our sponsorship packages are right here on one page. It's easy to see exactly what you get. And maybe we should buy one. What do you think, Lori?
Yes.
Let's buy one.
What are we in the market for today?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to buy the $100,000 hole-in-one shootout, right? It looks like a lot of fun. And I'm just going to add that to my cart, and then I can instantly check out. Now, this is where I would tell most folks on your sponsorship items, and I know we have a lot of Auctria experts on the webinar with us today. That would be an instant purchase, right? Immediate purchase is what it's referred to, and so that the person has to pay for it right then. Okay, as opposed to if it was bidding on an item or maybe a simple for sale item, we might just add it to their account. But on a sponsorship, I always think it's in the best interest of the committee and the organization to get payment right up, right? So then we would go to checkout, and it's as simple as that. All we have to do is finish it out, and it will purchase it. Now, I'm going to show you what this looks like on the back end. Don't you think, Lori? Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to just switch over to my dashboard for this event. And I want to show you what happens if, let's say, Lori called me and said, hey, Patrick, you've been talking to me about Auctria becoming the title sponsor, and we want to do that. Or now we want to become the buyer of the $100,000 hole-in-one. Let's go in, and we're going to sell. We go to tickets. And we're going to sell tickets, right? And so I'm going to sell it to Lori. So if it was a brand new buyer, I would register now, and you're on the back end here, so you know it is a bidder, right? But truly, it's a company. And then select an existing. So I'm going to go in there, type in Lori, if I could spell her name, and there is Lori. Okay, and so. Then I can choose which item I want to buy. I'm going to go ahead and I don't know what we'll sell. Let's see if we can.
And this is a perfect segue to one of the questions that came up in the chat. Somebody was asking about corporate teams. They want to be invoiced or they'll send in a check. This is how you can go ahead and do that manually from the back end once you have that check in hand.
Absolutely, because when we sell the item here, we have the option down below here to show that we have not received payment, right? And I say most of the time there, Lori, I say, you know, that's totally cool. I'm going to log it in there so nobody else goes and buys this package, right? And then we'll show everybody how we go into that individual bidder and send them, in essence, an invoice. I think the term in Auctria is called a statement, which makes sense because it lists all their purchases. But reality is I'm going to send them an invoice with a payment link, and whether they mail it to me or they use that payment link, we're going to get paid. And I think, you know, many of the nonprofits that I've worked with over the years, mail is a real detriment to them, right? They have the P.O. box that nobody ever checks. The mail goes to somewhere that nobody's been to, or they don't even have a mailing address, right? And that's why it's so nice that you're sending them a payment link and they can use their credit card right then. Okay. So when that is done, we just go record sale. And instantly it has done quite a few things. One is that if we go back to our dashboard and we go to bidders, we will see that it has created guest of Lori H 3 times, right? So it automatically added a ticket for each one of your golfers in that package. And so that's incredibly powerful because we're going to go, and it also did a table, right, Lori? So we go and get tables, and we just sold the long drive contest to Lori. And now we have 9 tables or 9 foursomes sold in this event. And there are our 4, right? So if I click on that, I can look at the assigned seating and I can see who is sitting at every table, just like you normally would. But now these are golfers. They're not going to the gala, right? Okay. let's also go back to our bidders, and I want to show you how we're going to bill Lori on that package. So we go to Lori. She owes a lot of money.
I'm all in on your golf tournament. You've sold me, Patrick.
You are deep into our organization right now at 12.5. But here's the beauty, folks, right? Is where we go ahead and we're going to send a statement, okay? We're going to send the statement. And when I do, I want to preview that just because I want to show you what it looks like. I don't have an email on you, Lori, so I got to.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's not there. It's there. I'm going to put my own email in there just to give it an email. Okay. One that I know is not in the system currently. And this doesn't look like that comma. Know that. All righty. And so let's preview that email statement. So it's not like you're going out and you're trying to export all of this to your Word documents and things like that. Auctria already has this built in the communication section. We were able to customize it with the event logo. We could have customized any of these elements, right? And the beauty of it is at the bottom, it is going to have checkout, and that's their opportunity to make payment right then, Lori, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I can't think of a smoother system to help folks do that. Now, I saw a question, is there an option to gather guest information? And yes, there is. And we call that the ticket statement, right, Lori?
Correct.
And I'm going to go to communication, right. And I'm just going to preview what the ticket statement would look like, right? So in my world, when I do these events and someone is going to, if I manually process on the back end, like I just did with Lori, I send them their bidder statement first, and I wait for them to pay. And then once they paid, then I send them their ticket statement, right? That's going to show all their guests, and then they can update the information on those guests, right? In the golf world, I would call that my player information forms, okay? But when they do it all on their own, they get both immediately because of the way we have it set up. But here's an example of did I do that right? I went to the wrong one, didn't I? Should be ticket statement. Yeah, and so on this one, it's showing the golfer details, right? And all I have to do is click update details. So if I was actually doing Lori's in particular, it would show all of her golfers underneath here, and then she could individually update each one, okay? And she can add, you know, if they have a guest, if they have whatever they have. So I saw there was someone on there that asked, Susan, I believe, asked about gathering the guest information, and that's how we would do that. So
and if they just want to call you on the phone and ask you to do it, that's fine too.
Absolutely.
You have access to the back end to do anything.
Yeah, it's incredibly easy to do that way. So in a nutshell, I think one of the other things that I wanted to show the folks was we were talking about texting, okay? And before I get to there, I want to mention that this website evolves as we get closer to the event, Lori, right?
Yes.
And that's what I love about Auctria is I'm able to add and delete and move things around, right? So as our online auction gets closer and we have some items collected, then I'll start putting the catalog in there. I'll start adding the ability to actually bid. We might add a video of somebody promoting the event. We might do some different things. And then once we get to it, then we can actually put the window if we're going to live stream from the event and maybe live stream and simulcast that live auction element at the welcome reception, or maybe we want to do some live streaming during the event, showing people having a good time, or the awards party. We can put that image or that video, embed it right there on the home page, which is just amazing to me. And the last thing I didn't mention there was we always put that donate window, and that stays there all the time, Lori, because we want people to be able to make donations. One of the fun things we added to this one is I called it the scoring help. And what I did here was we created some donation items, Lori, and you helped me with this. You started out with them based on our conversation. But we called this scoring help, and I don't know how big people's screens are, but basically we have 3 options here that we came up with. One is a foot wedge, right? So if you're a golfer, you can kick the ball. And then we had a gimme, which was if you're within 2 feet, then that's close enough. You can take the rest and no strokes. Or if you need a second chance, you need a mulligan, right? So people can actually, they could go in and purchase these elements on the front end, right? But we also have this paragraph up here, and it says, if you want to wait until you really need it, okay? Remember, you can always text your needs for help to 503-506-4909, right? And I'm gonna type that in just for fun, Lori. I'm gonna type that into the chat. And if anybody wants to try out how fast this system works, is I'm going to say text donate and then mulligan. And if you text donate mulligan to that number right there, you'll get a thank you note text back and the opportunity to pay for your donation, right? It's unbelievable how fast that happens. I am constantly and so
I tell people not to blink because you'll miss it.
Oh yeah, you totally will, right? and so I'm thinking, at our events we're gonna start doing this during the round, right? So it's do you need a little help out there? You can text donate and buy a mulligan or a gimme or a foot wedge. Just don't text to this number. Reply with a text. And away you go. It's just, it's ridiculously fun and an exciting deal. So, as I suspected, I've gone quick and covered a lot, Lori, but hopefully it's helpful for your audience. And
here come the purchases popping up on the screen.
Are they popping up?
They sure were.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how fast is that? Put people in the chat. Tell me if you're impressed with that or not. That's that's just amazing. So
it is.
Yeah. So Lori, that was kind of a quick down and dirty way of how I use Auctria for golf tournaments, and I think it's incredibly powerful. And I think about so many folks that think of golf and they go, "Gosh, that's a lot of work." And we just don't make that much money. And the reason is because they're not incorporating these other elements that we're talking about. And what a great way. You already have your Auctria subscription, add golf tournaments, raise more money for your organization. And that's how it grows year after year, right? Because if you are using auction elements and you're using things like your paddle raise, that's the most money per minute you're going to make in your entire event. And that can grow each year. You can't necessarily grow your entry fees year after year, but those ancillary variable things that folks get excited about, those can grow, and that's how you make your event bigger and better every year. So there you go, Lori. I'll take a breath.
And I put up there our contact information. Of course, you've heard me say it before, Auctria is active on social media. And I always encourage people to join our Facebook group, Auction Team Talk. It's one of the nicest pages on Facebook. Lovely people like Patrick hang out there, and all sorts of people that are running their events. In fact, I was on there this morning and there were some people posting their events that are coming up, and they had put up their websites and they all looked gorgeous. And then you can always email us, hello@auctria.com. And then listed on the other side is Patrick's contact information. Patrick, you don't have your Instagram up there. You're active on Instagram too.
I am on, I get, yeah. Well, I apologize. If definitely have Instagram on there too, and it's at gEventsLLC.com.
Yeah, same name. He posts a lot of interesting things up there, and Patrick really is unique in that he takes Auctria, he makes it his. You can see all the creative things that he's done with it, but he does so much more with his groups. If you look back through his timeline and feeds, you see you have your Wednesday bidness.
Yeah, fundraising bid.
Live that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Every Wednesday at noon on the West Coast, we talk about current events and best trends that are happening in the fundraising auction business. So yeah, it's
right.
fun.
I love that.